Besides some totally forgettable word salad, Harry and Meghan have been unusually quiet so far. But some silences just scream out loud, like not sending any public message to Her Majesty the Queen in her Platinum Jubilee. And this can only mean one thing that you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. It's hard to imagine what possibly could be the explanation behind not making any statement or congratulations or message through their official channels in this outstanding celebration for the Queen. And some would say that they want to enjoy their privacy and they are not engaged at all on public affairs or anything. But the fact is that they did not have to do it on their own. It was not necessary at all, since they've got enough staff at Archewell that could handle it for them. You know, hey, just remember to write and make public a message for this special date. They would not have to lift a finger to do it. Well, it's not like they are used to do anything, but still. Even their own PR firm could have done it. The same PR firm that keeps pushing all these headlines about the Queen and Charles eager for Harry to travel to the UK for the Jubilee celebrations, which I'm going to touch in a moment. And even if they are hiding inside a bunker below Montecito's grounds, it's their PR team's duties to warn them that they should make statements or issue congratulations for a date like this. So if they don't have to do anything about this sort of things and their slaves, assistants can perfectly take care of it on their own, then the only explanation about that deafening silence is that they expressly decided to not issue any message. There is no way around this. The silence must have been on purpose. And I've told you more than once that every manifestation of behavior, in this case a public decision, is a reflection of an intention. Instead of asking what's the meaning of that silence, you should ask what is the intention behind that silence. Because the first question assumes that the silence is the cause that has an effect or a meaning. But the second question is the right one, as it treats the silence as the effect of a cause, which is intention. Every single behavior analysis should be framed in this way, and every body language analysis as well. And that is one of the reasons I began deconstructing the possible scenarios behind them not making any statement about the Platinum Jubilee. They couldn't have forgotten that. They couldn't have mishandled that. They plain and simple commanded their staff to ignore it. And if I were in charge of Harry and Meghan's PR, I would tell them that ignoring the celebration is the second worst idea they've had this year, being the first one Harry's haircut. So in case I have not made myself clear, Harry intentionally and purposefully ignored his grandmother's 70 years of service. This is the same boy that said on Oprah, "I have too much respect for my grandmother." I guess that was another lie. Now, I think that both Charles and the Queen being in secret talks with Gingerbread so he can visit the UK in the summer is legit. Both of them have lived long enough to be more than aware that any rift cannot last forever if there is enough goodwill on each side. And you can't possibly know if there is any goodwill at Montecito if you don't show goodwill yourself first. So that's why I think those secret calls from Buckingham Palace have been made. This is actually a communication tactic when you want to establish empathy with someone. And it works, for example, when you are talking to a teenager. If you want a teenager to open up to you with a personal issue that you sense they are going through, then start the conversation with you opening up to them about the personal issue and asking them what do they think. If you want someone to open up yourself first. And it also works because when you start the conversation, it doesn't become an interrogation right off the bat focused on them or the teen in this example, but in you. And that helps them relax too. We already know that Harry has been acting like a teenager with a tantrum, and he even has made headlines about how unsafe he will feel if he brought his family to the UK. And by the way, I made a video about why that doesn't make any sense, and it's just another manipulation tactic to smear the Queen. So if they couldn't possibly forget the date, and there's goodwill coming from Charles and the Queen, and there must be an additional factor that must have personal weight. And I'm sure that the missing piece is Camilla. Precisely because the Queen has made it crystal clear that she would like everyone to acknowledge Camilla as Queen Consort once Charles becomes king. This has been a sensitive topic, especially in the public's perception of Camilla, and has gradually improved over many years after Camillagate. It also helps that Camilla has spent more than a decade being super royal to the Queen and proving herself as the right stuff for the royal family. This is a complex matter, especially due to the legend status of Diana, and public perception is something that should be carefully taken into account for these kinds of decisions. And the fact that the Queen made that statement in the very anniversary of her accession means that she's not taking these matters lightly. Means that she really wants Camilla's work and status to be acknowledged. Now, what does this have to do with the Harkles, and especially with Harry? Well, I've also made another video about the reasons Harry's memoirs were going to bomb, and there were rumors about Camilla being the center of this book's focus. You know that a memoir usually has the message of a person who achieved something, and to achieve that, they had to overcome conflicts. There's no other way around. That's what makes a memoir interesting. But what has Harry built? What has Harry built, Mr. White?
Nothing.
Exactly, nothing. So the conflict of that memoir is going to be more victimhood. And it's especially relevant this recent tweet from Adam Grant that I found quite interesting about this topic. Constantly claiming to be a victim is not a sign of virtue. It's a strategy for narcissists and psychopaths to get ahead. And cites research about the people who frequently signals victimhood and are more willing to lie, cheat, and steal. So I'm going out on a limb that Harry is going to focus these memoirs about his parents' troubles, being Camilla an integral part of that narrative. And since the Queen made this statement about Camilla being called Queen Consort someday, this must have upset the Montecito redhead. Just the fact that they decided to issue no congratulations at all is a good signal that maybe they are not coming from the Jubilee celebrations in June. But given their ability to spin every message in the media so everything is about them, such as Harry and the police security affair, I'm sure they will try to spin this like they were never invited or never welcome again at Buckingham Palace. Remember that any notoriety that they've gained and barely maintained so far has been through painting the royal family as evil. Which again, I would not want to be in Harry and Meghan's PR team, because all these efforts to appear as victims, as if somewhat they are being targeted or don't feel safe or anything, all these kind of tactics are short-lived and don't have a lasting effect. Not sending a public message on Her Majesty's Jubilee is literally a declaration of war. And I've mentioned before that they have the benefit of the royal family's motto, never explain, never complain. No member of the royal family is going to reply or even acknowledge Harry and Meghan's existence unless necessary. So in the perception of the Harkles fans, they would have won. Okay, but they still haven't built anything. And that must be the reason why Spotify is about to dump them, like Meghan did to any of her ex-friends. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.